All right. What's going on, party people? This your man Griff. Um, y'all gonna probably hear some planes and stuff. You know they always like to land when y'all saw it out the little corner there. You know they like to be coming by when I'm doing my videos. But yeah, I'm sort of doing a re-record video as well as giving y'all an update on my day. Not that y'all probably care about an update on my day, but I was listening to the other video and man, that thing was the audio. I don't know what the problem is with this phone. When I'm driving, it's like it picks up every sound and just bumpity bump and noise and stuff. So I'm gonna have to stop trying to record while driving until I figure something out. I don't know if it's the air conditioning and it's the wind from the air conditioner or what. But like I was saying this morning, I wanted to just again say thanks to everybody for hopping in on the premiere that I did last week or this weekend, past weekend with my accountant Rob Turner. Pay it, income tax, professional accounting and income tax, PAIT, pay it. Great guy, known him for over 20 years. He'll give you the straight scoop and skinny on everything. Reach out to him and take it serious, okay? Like I was saying in another video, don't go in there just trying to like extract information so then you can try to do it yourself. Don't use people like that, okay? Not that anybody has. He wouldn't even tell me if somebody did because that's the quality person he is. His business is his business. Is dealing with people. His dealing, but we know how people can be, and so a lot of people was asking about, hey, when you're doing another interview with your accountant and all of that kind of stuff. So that's why I did one. Plus, he wanted to also just to share because he had been talking to a few people, helping them out and everything, but and all of that. So that's why I wanted, to do that video, and I'm glad he was able to hop on. And we talked about it on Thursday, and bam, we knocked it out on Saturday. So it wasn't a whole lot of planning and none of that kind of stuff, no production. We just he already had some ideas and things he wanted to talk about, and I just let him flow with it and all of that. And like I said, this weekend was good. My son had his second signing. He did well with it. Different environment, a younger couple. The first time it was with an older couple. This time it's with a younger couple, and they had a kid. Kid wasn't necessarily out of sight, out of mind. She made sure she let you know that she exists and all of that, he said. So he did good with that and everything. And like I told you, said before in the other video, he had to drop the docs off. And one of the safety tips that I've learned, I was told, nothing that I like figured out on my own, but I was told, and then I figured out, yeah, it's best practice is to, if you're going to be dropping documents off, put them in your trunk or something like that. Make sure they covered if you actually got to take them to work or whatever, or if you have a secure place at your job, take them to your job and put them in your desk or whatever. You don't want to run the risk of somebody doing a drive-by or walk by and see documents and, oh, they might have money, and then snatch your stuff and and steal it. It ain't like if they see, oh, there ain't no money in here, they're going to seal it back up and then bring it to you and place it back in, in the car and all of that. So just make sure you're careful with people's documents and everything. But today today was interesting. I can't remember what else I talked about in another video, but I took that video down, so don't worry about it. Today was interesting because I was supposed to have 4 signings, ended up with 5. The reason why is because I accidentally somehow didn't have everything on my calendar. And apparently when I accepted an order or somewhere along the order got assigned that I said I was available to, I didn't realize it was at the same time as another one. So I literally had 2 appointments at 1 o'clock today. I had an 8 o'clock, then 11:30, and that 11:30 is sweet. And then after the 11:30, I had a 1 o'clock or 2 1 o'clocks. So last night I was scrambling trying to navigate them, called the one customer, and they was on it, and theirs was just a loan application. So I was like, well, maybe I can do that earlier, and they was like, nah, we got to do it at 1. Found out later the reason why they couldn't change it, which they was willing to, was because the loan officer had told them he was available at 1, starting at 1 to answer any questions that they had during the loan application, while they was filling it out. So that couldn't move. Then I had to contact the other signer. He wasn't answering his phone, and his voicemail was full, so I had to shoot him a text and send him a text. Got with him, and he was able to shift it to noon, cleared that with the company and everything. And they was like, yeah, just get it done. I was like, all right, cool. But I let them know and everything. Some companies you most definitely have to let know if there's going to be an adjustment and a time change and stuff. And even if the first couple would adjust it, I still would have contacted the people who sent me out, the company, the title company or settlement company. I think it's a settlement company. And told them, hey, this is what the deal is. And I told the other company, I said, hey, look, I got a scheduling conflict. Want to get y'all permission? Can I reach out to them? ... And they had told me, and then I let them know what the deal was, that we was able to get it set up. Because a lot of these companies, they don't want to have to go and and grab another notary, because it might be slim pickings, all of that. So I was doing everything in my power to make sure it stayed with me, and not really for a money perspective, but from an integrity perspective. That, hey, look, the issue was my fault. No need for y'all to be running around if you don't have to, trying to find another notary. So, and I even thought about having my son do the loan application if it got to that, because he's done those before, so he could have did that. But it would have been a little rougher for him, because the guy was asking a lot of questions. He was really being nitpicky about a lot of the numbers and stuff unnecessarily. But the loan officer did a great job, answered the phone, talked to him, got him all straight. I was like, all right, cool, and we got through it. It took just under an hour to get done, but everything was smooth with that. And then I had a 3 o'clock, which was my last one, and got to 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, now that the 11:30 and the 3 o'clock, two very, very interesting ones. And I'm gonna go back to the 11:30. The 3 o'clock ended up being interesting because at some point I went home. Yeah, I went home after the 9 a.m. one. And then I sort of I said, well, let me look at this 3 o'clock, because I hadn't even printed the documents. And when I looked at it, I said, wait a minute. I already did a signing with this guy. Are they giving me something wrong? So I downloaded the docs, looked at them. The docs were dated for today. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? Crazy enough, I actually have forgot to confirm the order with the guy. I thought I did. But things were so crazy at the end part of last week, I guess I forgot, because when I got there and asked him, I said, did we confirm? He's like, nah, man, but I knew you was coming. And so apparently what happened, it was supposed to have been a split signing back on the 24th. I did him, somebody else did his wife signing, and apparently the bank didn't get, the communication wasn't correct. So the lender did not want it to be split. They wanted them both to sign the same documents at the same time. She signed the same set of documents, but in a different location with a different notary at a different time. So when it came back, it came back through, and they called me and said, hey, you got time to do this? And nobody told me. Nobody said, hey, you did this before and this is what's going on. I happened to notice that it was the same person, the same exact docs. I sent a message, and they were like, okay, all they said was The lender determined they couldn't use the documents, they had to redraw. That was it. But when I got there, I made mention of it so I could try to get them to tell me, and they like, oh yeah, the lender didn't want to use them because we was in 2 different locations. We didn't know we needed to do it at the same time. ... And I said, well, don't worry, I'll get you taken care of. She said, oh no, I'm not worried because my husband told me you great. She said, which would be way better than the other notary that I had who was a mess. Didn't know what she was doing or anything. I was like, gotcha. So got them taken care of. Found out a little more about what happened with the notary. First thing, the notary was 30 minutes late. Didn't call and let her know. The lady was on her way, was leaving from the appointment because she hadn't heard anything. And then apparently the notary texted her and said, she either texted or called, I forget which one, but she said the lady contacted her and said, hey, I'm like 2 minutes away from you. So that is a big no-no. You gotta stay in contact with the customers, and especially if you got it in your profile that you're gonna contact the customers and you don't, the customer's going most definitely gonna say something. They're gonna be like, look, I was sitting here for 30 minutes, I didn't know where that person was at. So you gotta make sure you communicate to the customer what is going on, whether you're stuck or whatever the case may be. You got to communicate to them. And then since it was at that time a split, the notary was unsure about whether or not the lady was supposed to sign. She was like, I don't know if you're supposed to sign this document or not. And I'm like, well, if her name is on it and you have no other indicator that she shouldn't sign it, then she should. On the notarial part, you cross out his name, initial, because he's not there. But she wasn't too pleased with her experience and everything, so she was happy with mine. And her husband was he's very straight faced. And she was like, oh no, I just heard nothing but good stuff. My husband told me you're great. You know what you're doing. You did a good job. He was very happy and pleased with you. Said you're very organized. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, he don't look like he say too many words at all. But I left a good impression on him. So even though sometimes the signer may not be that talkative or say a whole lot, they're paying attention and they report to somebody how well or how bad you were. Now to the 11:30, that was my baby there. That one, I was just minding my own business. I get a phone call. With this T-Mobile, phone calls keep getting sent directly to voicemail for some reason. So, and I may just have to switch everybody over to Verizon because this is just ridiculous. I mean, literally, I could be sitting here and all of a sudden I got multiple voicemails and the phone never rang. So I don't like that. With Sprint, before T-Mobile bought them, I never had that problem at all. Never had a drop call. If it dropped, yeah, every now and then. But never had a thing where somebody was calling me and it was just always going to voicemail and would never ring. I didn't have that issue. So I answered the voicemail. All I hear is this guy say his name, which I don't even remember now, but he said his name, said he was with a title company. Didn't even say the name of the title company, just said I'm with a title company in Florida. And I was like, and want to know if you have time, to do a signing for us tomorrow, which was Monday. So you get a phone call on a Sunday, you better be ready to hop on that bad boy. So I was like, I hung up, didn't even hear the rest of the message. Called him. I said, yeah, Griffin Notary, how can I help you? He said, yeah, got a client. She used to live here. She lives up there now, and she's selling her property that's here. We need witness. You can be one because it's a Florida property, and if you can get another witness. I said, no problem. And he said, it's 4 pages. Technically, it was 4 documents. It was really 4 documents, but he said 4 pages, and we paying $150 for it. I was like, no problem. No problem at all. I hopped on that bad boy so quick it wasn't even funny. And I got over there, got her taken care of. So for those of you notary gurus notary pay gurus, I hope that puts me back in your good grace that I took an order that was only 4 pages or 4 documents, came out to 6 pages altogether for $150. I hope y'all, can show some love to me and all of that, and everything. But even if they would have offered me 100, I still would have did it, or 85. I mean, when somebody calls you, if somebody calls me, unless I am truly booked, I'm doing the order. I'll try to negotiate a high fee, but I'll take my fee. I'll fill them out and all of that. But if I can get, have an opportunity to establish a relationship with them, I'm taking that. You know what I'm saying? I'm hopping on that. So if he would have came out and said, "Hey, look, we got this order, $95." All right, cool. Because out of everybody who he could have called, sorry about that. The mosquitoes. Got out of them, all of those people who he could have called, he didn't have to call me. You know what I'm saying? He did not have to call me, but he did, and I appreciate it. I have to roll these windows up. All right. He could have picked anybody, and he chose me. And by the time I think it was like a 5, maybe just under 10 minutes from when he left the voicemail, and I was able to get him, and he hadn't called anybody else or selected anybody. So that was a positive, because a lot of times they're called, and if you don't answer the phone right then, they just move on to the next person. So fortunately, I was able to get him before he got an answer from somebody else or got in contact with somebody else. But I was like, man, so I got over there, knocked that out at 11:30, and probably took me 15 minutes because we had to wait a little bit for her neighbor, because she told me that she had a witness. So I didn't have to bring a witness. If I had a witness, I would have been done in about 10 minutes and everything. Matter of fact, I didn't even prep the documents. All I did was just print them, gave her copy, boom, 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 and was gone. And now, whenever somebody calls you directly, always ask them, where did they find you? Just ask them, say, hey, where did you find me? And in this case, they said 123 Notary. Now, that 123 Notary, some people feel it's a little controversial because apparently this guy got some certain political views that a lot of people don't necessarily care for. I get that, but I haven't really looked into him. And the only reason why I even signed up, I've known about him from day one that I've been a notary. I mean, honestly, everybody like sign up for 123 Notary, and I did, but it seemed like you really needed to have some experience in order for these companies to pick you up, because it was like, it's a database, so they're looking for people of a certain criteria. It's not a signing service. So I just say, you know what, I ain't gonna worry about that. And I didn't even think anymore. I'm serious, I literally didn't think any more about it until January this year, or maybe even December. But I was in a Clubhouse thing, and a lady was talking about it, and she gave some, positive stuff and sharing how, it's worked out for her. And I just got a good vibe from her. I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. $99 for the year, I'm gonna give it a shot. 2 days later, I get a legitimate phone call to do a signing for $250. Okay. Then I get another call from somebody else. I forgot how much that fee was. It wasn't that much. I mean, it was a small fee. Might have been just $75. Got that done. So I think altogether I've gotten maybe 4 orders from them. But what I'm seeing with that one is just a database. It's not a signing service. And a lot of the people who call me or who've contacted me, they really don't have any order. They don't have a whole lot of business in my area. And now it's too warm and it's making me cough. This temperature change is really what's bothering me. All right, open the windows and fight the mosquitoes. We'll figure it out. But so I know some people like, well, see, that's why you got to sign up and sign up and sign up. Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because I will say this. I was signed up for them and I never got an order. But I ain't started getting orders until I had some experience and I paid that $99. And then that gave me some kind of preferred status. And I was like, all right, all right, cool. I got some kind of preferred status and everything. So I think that's really what did it, was the experience and the fact that I paid for this preferred status. But like Notary Cafe, I paid the little 20 some bucks for that. I get more spam stuff or scam stuff from Notary Cafe than anything. Haven't gotten anything lately, so I'm not even gonna mess with them anymore. But then other people say they get it, so I don't know. So not everything works, like I've always said. Sometimes you gotta test it out, okay, and it's just not worth trying to keep up my profile and all that stuff with them. But I just wanted to share, my day with y'all and everything. And where I'm sitting at right now is, I want that building, y'all. This is a huge building. I want that. I want that for us notaries. I want that building for us notaries. That building is perfect. And the back part, that building is perfect for what I would love to set up for some training for some notaries and some stuff. I need some change from that one. This one gonna cost some money. And it's right next door to where I used to work at. Yeah, that building down there, I used to work over there and everything. And the back of that building is the FedEx. So you say, well, why are you over there by your old job, man? I'm over here by my old job, man, because that's what FedEx is. That's where the FedEx and all of that stuff is at. Yeah, I want that building. My wife knows I want this building bad, bad and stuff. But the month started off good. The day was good. Hit 535. I got 2 signings for tomorrow. I think 125 and 85 or something like that. So like I said, my goal right now is just to be consistent at averaging about $300 a day. For 20 days out of the month. I'm trying not to do weekends, and I'm good. I hit my $6,000, do my house inspections and all of that. But the main thing is, with any of these things, you got to get the experience under your belt. So by me, when I went on 123 Notary, I had over 800 signings under my belt, and I immediately started getting, I got selected or asked, could I do an order? And how do they know? How do they decide? By looking at your profile, the words that you say in your profile. The words that you say in your profile, that matters. And that's what I keep trying to get y'all to understand. That stuff matters. Just because this signing company or a couple of signing companies over here say we don't care about your profile, doesn't mean all of them don't care. Okay? They're not the rulers and kings and queens of the whole notary world of selecting and getting notaries. So just because these people over here say, well, I never look at the person's profile. All I care about is where, if they within 5 miles or 5 minutes or whatever. Okay, that's his business model or her business model. But not everybody has that same business model. Other people want to make sure they got quality folk, and they're concerned. They're like, okay, because see, to me, a person that's like, I don't care what your background is, that tells me they're probably more quicker not to pay you over any little thing you do wrong. Hey, your stamp was a little off here. It wasn't fully stamped. We ain't paying you. Hey, you sent back the papers a little crinkled on the edges. We ain't paying you. Hey, you were 2 minutes late on the scan back. We ain't paying you. So when somebody's not really concerned about you and your background, and they just want a warm body, you got to be careful of those kind of people. I like working with people who really want to know who they're working with and who's doing business for them and representing them. If they don't care too much about anything about you, like I don't care what, you 2 steps from my client, go do it. And the moment you mess something up, I ain't paying you. You got to be careful of that. You got to be careful of that. I'm telling you, you got to be careful of that. I know there's people that's doing that. There are people out there. This is just from experience and everything. So I like a company that will take the time out and look at my profile and analyze me and make a determination of whether or not they really feel that I'm a good fit for what they're doing and the clients that they serve. And not just look at me as an arm with a stamp and some breath to be able to do the oath. That ain't what I want. I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want people looking at me like that. So those are just some of my thoughts and everything. But we got to get ready in case this shutdown happens again for round 2 of the pandemic notaries. That next wave, because if they shut down and people start losing their jobs, people gonna start looking for ways to make money, and you know where they gonna come. So if you ain't got yourself some signings under your belt, you better start taking them, because when Pandemic Notary 2 happens, I'm telling you, it ain't gonna be pretty for some of y'all, because y'all been playing around and I ain't taking this order, I ain't taking that order, and next thing you know, a whole new slew of notaries come in, and if they got themselves halfway together, nobody ain't gonna worry about you. They just gonna be like, well, we got our notaries. So I ain't even gonna say no more on that. All right, y'all have a good one. Peace.